Reptile barn. We were just checking on the eggs over here in our incubator, and guess what? We have some pipping, so we're gonna do some cutting today.
So we've gone over this before. We were not into egg cutting at all when we first got started. However, we heard several breeders talk about how you can save babies' lives if you cut eggs and stuff. We never really bought that. But then Justin Kabilka put out a video talking about it, and he said that he had eggs where most of the clutch had hatched, he didn't cut, and a couple eggs didn't hatch. And when he opened them up, the baby was dead, presumably drowned, and there were cut marks on the inside of the egg. So their egg tooth just either wasn't strong enough or wasn't long enough to actually get all the way through the shell, and the baby ended up drowning. So we decided that once the clutch is pipping on its own, we never are going to cut if all the eggs are still closed. But once there's babies that are out, we're going to cut the rest of the eggs, just a small window, to make sure that they can get out. Because we would hate to lose a baby just because it didn't manage to cut all the way out of the egg. So that's our logic here. I know some people are still going to disagree with egg cutting, but we really do not want to lose babies. So that's what we're going to do. We have two clutches pipping today. I'm going to go sterilize these scissors real quick, and I'll be right back. So, first clutch we're going to cut here was a normal to the banana green pastel. So hopefully we'll get some more bananas in this clutch. 5 eggs in here. The 2 I see out are not banana. That's okay. They don't look like they need any help getting out, so I won't mess with them. I'll just go with these other 3 eggs. As you can see, we've been working with our substrateless method. It's not really substrateless, but they're not on the substrate. So we just put some completely soaked vermiculite in the bottom, and then this light diffuser panel that the eggs sit on. So they're nice and humid, but not wet. It's worked really well for us. So as far as cutting goes, looks like a little normal in here. As far as cutting goes, we like to cut the way that Garrick DeMeyer does it. That's kind of where we first saw egg cuttings, and I really like the way he does it. Basically, some people use a razor blade. That freaks me out. I do not do that. Beautiful little snake in here, looks just fine. But I do not use a razor blade. I use scissors. And take the egg, pinch it, make sure there's no big veins in the part that you're going to cut, and obviously no part of the snake. When you have a little bit of a lip there, just cut barely a little slit. There's a little banana there. And then you can pull your slit up so that, again, you're not in danger of cutting your snake. And you cut a little window. Doesn't need to be big. They just need to be able to get their head out so they can crawl out of the egg. I do not believe that curiosity is a good enough reason to cut eggs, so I'm not trying to, open a huge window to see exactly what the snake is. Of course, I'd like to see it, but he'll be out in a couple days. We can wait. We've waited 55 days already. Yep, little banana there. Last egg. Make your crease. Pinch it a little bit. Make sure there's no big veins that you're cutting. At this stage in their incubation, if you do cut a vein, it's okay. They're completely in the mode of absorbing their yolk at this point, so you'll be okay. But I still try not to cut any big ones. Let them use all that blood they possibly can. This looks like a green pastel to me. Only 1 banana in this clutch. That's alright. Yeah, so take a peek. And I'll let this close up. So, there you have it. That's how we cut our eggs. So now I'll do the other clutch real quick. close this back up. Let them stay nice and humid until they're ready to come out. In the next day or two, they'll all be out, and we'll show you them on video again. I don't want this to be completely sealed. I want them to have plenty of air to breathe, but I do want it to stay humid. There we are. This other clutch was a normal to a mystic potion. So every snake in this clutch, and there's 7 eggs, all these snakes will be either mystic or Mojave. And it might be a little difficult for me to tell without really opening them up, which I'm not going to do. So we might just be out of luck identifying these snakes until they come out of the egg, and that's just fine. Hey bud. First little breath of air. Little nose poking out. I was cutting a clutch a couple weeks ago, and one of the babies struck at me as I was opening his egg. I've never seen that before. Just took a pop at me right from inside his egg as I was cutting it open. Yeah, so the Mystic Potion, that's an allelic animal, which means it acts like a super, so every single baby is going to be either Mystic or Mojave. Here's a Mojave. Beautiful little snakes. I think that other one I cut was a Mystic, and these two that only the heads are out, I don't know what they are. One more here. Is I don't know. I know some people, you know, they're cutting open their eggs and they're like, oh, this is a oh, and they rattle off 5 genes. I have no clue how you would know that, but congratulations to you. But once they're out of the egg, we'll get them all identified and just fine. Some people use small scissors to do this. I don't see that's necessary, and we don't have any, so I use big scissors and it works just fine. And don't worry, I'm being so cautious to not cut the egg, or to not cut the snake. Here's another Mojave, I believe. So it looks like we'll get a nice mix of Mystics and Mojaves out of this clutch. Another day or two, we ought to get an Ultramel clutch pippin. I'm excited for that. I'll tell you the horrible story, our Ultramel experience last year. And another Mojave. Yep, just his tail poking up right here. Alright. So I think that these two that had their heads out made big enough holes that they should be able to get out of them. This one I'm going to open up a little bigger probably, but that's a Mojave. Lots of Mojaves this time. That's funny because last year we got mostly Mystics. This clutch looks like mostly Mojaves. And then this guy I'm going to open up a little bigger as well. This little bit I'll just tear because I don't want to cut too close to his head. And that, I think that's a Mystic. Hard to tell. There we go. 7 beautiful, perfect babies. They all look healthy, all wiggling around. They'll be ready to come out of the egg probably 2 days or so, I guess. Yeah, so let us know what you think of egg cutting. I know it's a controversial topic, but I've seen enough proof now, or breeders who really know what they're talking about, that say that this does helps, you know, your percentages of your babies that survive. You don't see me pulling them out of the egg to see what they are. I'm certainly not for that. We were against cutting at all until we really started to believe that it can save some babies. So that's all I do. Cut them a window so they can get out, and I'll leave them alone until they come out on their own. There's still a chance occasionally they do twist their umbilical cord, and I guess the only way you'd be able to see that is if you really messed around with them down there, but I'm not willing to do that. So, you know, if all the babies come out except one, and he's been a day or two later than the rest of them, maybe at that point I would kind of carefully try and check and see if his umbilical cord was twisted, but that would be like a last resort for me. I do not want to pull them out of their egg at all. I just don't want to do that. At least with ball pythons, and that's what we have experience with. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Got to see some cute little babies and their first breath of air. And until next time, we're the Reptile Barn.